the men had five chambers for the men, but two for the women, because men were needed more to work on plantations than women. Though the women were able to work on plantations as well, especially kind of farm produce like sugarcane. And one of the main reasons they were taking women was for reproduction, because children of slaves automatically became slaves. So they had this chamber and the opposite one. The two chambers had about 300 female captives and children, both boys and girls, little above 13. 13 and little above 13, both boys and girls were here with the women. So each chamber had 150. They also defecated here, urinated, vomited, menstruated. And one sad thing was, when they had their menses, everything flowed on them, flowed. So it ended and dried on them because there was nothing like sanitary pad for them. And they were never even allowed to take their bath. So you can imagine the state here. The floor not excavated, light ventilation from the holes. And upon all these treatments, the conditions, the British were not shameful, still came in, picked some of the beautiful ones, of course, and raped them. This is that anytime the ladies saw some of the British coming, they started screaming because they knew their intentions. So they came in, picked some of them, but those selected, they allowed them to wash down, gave them food, gave them something to wear after into their bedrooms. Out of that, some of them became pregnant. They built stone houses in town with nurses and midwives. So those who were seen pregnant here were moved there. Nurses, midwives took care of them. Few months, few years after delivery, the mothers who were weak were freed. Those who were strong enough were brought back. Later, they were shipped away. As for the babies, majority of them died. And the few that survived, they raised them, started a school with them, Cape Coast Castle School. Some of them grew up, became workers here, like secretaries, clerks, interpreters, spies. They sent some abroad, and some of them became supervisors because they were having lighter skill. Some of these children were named by their fathers. Some of the Europeans, not only the British, had concubines, girlfriends in town. Some of them married, had children out of that. They also named them. Some of the local people adopted some of these European names, sounded sweet to them. These are some of the reasons why we have many European names along the west coast of Africa. Ghana is not an exemption, especially here in Cape Coast. You will hear surnames like Smith, Grant, Wood, York, McLean, McCarthy, Swansea, Johnson, Jackson, Jefferson, Watson, Ferguson, Dawson. All the sons come if not wrong. But if you go inland like Ashanti region, Kumasi and its surroundings, a typical Ashanti will hardly bear a surname like Johnson. Rather, you hear names like Krantin, Otin, Boatin, Ajiman, Osei, Prempe, Owusu, Frimpong, being typical Ghanaian names. Let's see the infamous jaw of